Yeah.
2026. So welcome everyone. Let's see some people. Evacuation. We have one this, but I think we beat before. So that door or that door, whichever seems quickest and safest, and please assembly point G, do not leave until Mr. Brown has said all as well. Thank you very much. Moving on then for college for absence, we have a full house. No apologies. The senior was so exciting, nobody compared to it. So welcome, it's a very special occasion. Thank you very much. Lovely to see everyone. Disclosure of non-pecuniary interest, have we got any? No? No public participation that I'm aware of, so we'll move on from there. So the minutes of the last meeting, which was the 13th of October, has anybody got any comments on the minutes or questions? Okay, another proposer then to accept those minutes. Thank you, Councillor Nunia. Councillor Waffles, second. All those in favour? Very much. Lovely. Thank you. So moving on then to the agenda. And the first item is item number 6, which is the leisure project update. So lots of work been going on this. And just before I hand over to Mike to do an introduction, you'll notice at the back of this update, you've got a document of all the decisions that have been taken. You remember that you delegated the decisions, but so that you are aware of everything that's happening, every decision is documented at the back of this. Who signed it off? What was decided? Obviously, if you've got any questions, you're very welcome to ask. But I think that's a really good process. And thank you for both Mikes, I think, for putting that in place for us. Okay, do you want to do a quick introduction like this?
Yes, Chair. So the report sets out activities since October. In particular, we're continuing with the design of the building. So we're moving from RIBA Stage 2 to RIBA Stage 3 in advance of planning application prepared for February. We had several drop-in sessions in November in the Leisure Centre just to enable the public to come in and see the plans and offer any comments. We started the procurement for a principal contractor. We've now moved to a position where we have a preferred contractor and a reserve contractor. We've now started the legal negotiations with the preferred contractor. So I'm hoping that we'll have some more update for you shortly. And we also started the development of a business case in relation to temporary provision. So that's around the feasibility, viability and deliverability of some temporary provision, which we'll bring back to members for a decision in the next few weeks. The decisions that we've set out in the report under delegated authority include the appointment of the AtkinsRéalis design team from RIBA Stage 4, which is the technical design, through to RIBA Stage 7, which is post-occupancy. That gives us continuity in terms of the design team all the way through until after the opening in spring 2028. We also had a number of additional consultants that we knew we'd need to appoint. We didn't appoint them at the start of the process because we didn't know exactly which ones we would be appointing. We knew we had to appoint some, so things such as planning, transport and ecology. So we now appointed those. We've also moving part of our legal advice from Freets, who we'd originally appointed to advise us on the construction contract, to Bevan Britton. The reason for that is that the lawyer who we were working with at Freets is transferred across to Bevan Britton, and we want continuity of advice and service, so we're just moving across. It's quite normal for this sort of thing to happen, for a file to transfer with the person rather than just move from one company to the next. We've set out the sorts of activities that will happen between now and March, in particular the appointment of a principal contractor, which we anticipate to happen over the next few weeks, submission of a planning application and the development of the design through to RIBA Stage 4, which is that technical design. The report also identifies a number of trees on the site that need to be removed for the purposes of the development, including some on the northeastern corner, which are currently sitting over the top of a large electrical cable which serves the substation, and we're moving the substation. Now, there is a slight issue in Appendix C, which identifies those trees. If you go right to the end of the appendix, it says the 4 trees shown above in red. They're actually in black and white. If anybody wants to know exactly which those trees are, I can send you an update on that in policy. You can see which ones they are. Hopefully the 7 on the northern part of the site are fairly clear at the first part of the Appendix C. So that sets out the activity since October. And as Chair says, including the delegated authority and decisions taken under that, set out as Appendix A and B.
Thanks very much. Questions, comments from anyone? Thanks. Councillor Watson.
Hi, thanks, Chair. Just a quick one on 6.3. It refers, regarding the tree felling, refers to something known as bird nesting season. So we need to get these trees felled before bird nesting season begins. But I have no idea what that was. So I had a look at ISPB. And apparently bird nesting season is up until February, the end of February is the time to prune and fell trees and things. So I'm kind of thinking this is kind of a very short deadline, because if we go beyond that, we could get some people that could bring it up and then it could delay things. So I just wondered what the timelines are to actually get these, because we were talking about the what do we need to put in place? We need to get the planning permission or get the permission to get those felled, right?
Some of those trees don't need any consent per se, because they're not in the conservation area, but we do need to consult them. This part of the process of consultation is in actually the report itself, setting that out in the public domain. The plan is to have those trees removed by the end of February, so that we actually meet that deadline. There are some trees which are in the conservation area, and obviously we're in discussion with the planning department about the conservation area consent, where we need to issue notice that we intend to fell those trees, and we will be working towards the intention of felling those trees before the end of February, so that we're within that timeline.
Thanks, Chair. It was just I didn't know what
It's a good point.
bird nesting season was, so I went and looked it up and I learned something myself too. Thanks.
We don't want homeless birds, do we?
Fair point. I should have sat down before. I apologise for not setting out the detail.
It's good though to get the dates. Thank you. Councillor Jarvis and Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Chair. There's two probably relatively minor things. Is that the town centre CCTV cables actually run under that site? I'm aware of those, and obviously they've got to be protected, and they come under the auspices of the town council. You know, so I assume that's.
Yes, we're aware of those cables, and we're starting discussions, obviously through the design team, to identify exactly where they would need to be rerouted and how that might happen. So that has been picked up.
Okay. And the other one, again, a relatively minor. There's a defibrillator on the side of that building. Hopefully it could be moved off before the building is flattened.
Yes, we'll be looking at defibrillators in the new building. There'll be other items as well that we need to translocate from the existing site into the new building as well. So
there is one on the outside. Yeah. Hopefully that'll be removed, totally removed before it gets flattened.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor.
Thanks, Chair. As you know, I've been in the working groups, well, every time really. I don't think I've missed one yet, maybe one. So I may have missed or had a microslip. So you might have answered this already, but are we planning to replant any trees? I think we are, aren't we? Yeah. I've just answered my own question.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Right,
Yeah.
give me the detail.
Yes, yes. In line with our new policy, we'll be replacing trees 2 for 1. We'll probably add some additional ones in to allow for losses as well. And we're in discussion with people at the moment about where those trees might be planted, which may not necessarily be this planting season, but it will certainly be the next. And any requirements for biodiversity net gain will be dealt with in the planning application as well.
Thank you. Any others? Right, we just asked to note that report, so please put your hand up if you're not happy to note. We don't have to vote on it, but anyway, thank you. So I'll take that as a yes from everyone. Thanks very much. So moving on to item 7, which is the refuse and recycling round rebalancing. You might remember it was some time ago now, can't remember how many meetings ago, we agreed that it was more efficient and easier to manage if we did all the black bins across the borough 1 week and all the red bins across the borough the next week, for all sorts of reasons, instead of having half and half. So that was agreed some time ago. So now there's a lot of planning going into this, and I'm going to hand over to Mike, I think, to talk us through some of that.
You're bang on. So this was agreed originally in February 2025 to do the rebalancing. It's taken some time to put in the IT systems required to operate the vehicles, to then rebalance those routes and map those routes, and to make sure that what we end up with is well effective and efficient, reducing that vehicle movement, reducing that carbon footprint of that kind of operation. I'm going to pass over to Ed actually, this team, because they've done a fantastic piece of work looking at the data, reanalyzing that, and then putting the new rounds in place. It is a huge impact to the organisation and to every resident there. Nearly 80% of those residents will be impacted with either a bin change or a day change. So this is huge impact to those residents. We're going to make sure that you have the information you need to be able to answer those questions as those residents raise those issues. We tried to map most of those out, but Ed will give you a bit of an overview now what that looks like. Okay.
Thanks, Evan. Thank you.
So that's
Pictures.
yeah, as Mike said, we've making some changes to the rounds. The main reason for that is so that we can create a more efficient and effective service.
Evan, could you put your mic on?
Yeah, so sorry. Doesn't allow.
We've got all excited.
I might have to share this. Sorry about this. Might have to share this report after the meeting. So I'm sorry about that. IT issues. So yeah, we're making the changes to the collection services. It will be more efficient and effective. One of the main changes that we're making is we're moving to collecting black refuse one week, red refuse the next. We're sweeping across the borough and doing that. So we start in sort of Basil side and then coming up to the technical. Reason for doing that is to more resilience in the way that we can deal with misbins, so we can rectify those really quickly. And also when we have vehicle breakdowns, so we had a vehicle fire last week, it takes a vehicle off the road. Still got 5 vehicles to pick up the work with 6 rather than 2 vehicles to pick up the chances to actually sort of continuing to provide a good service to the residents. We're making the changes on week beginning the 23rd of February. There is a reason for that. So it is a quieter week for red bin collection service. So we always start a new service on black bins. That's probably interesting one for most people. The reason for doing it on the 23rd of February is just under 13,000 residents that normally have their red bin collected. So it's to minimise the impact of the same extent people collect. But we are also going to do an overlap. So we are also going to collect those 13,000 bins so that no resident is going without a collection or longer than they would. Probably even more in concert with the recent impacts on the severe weather. We are looking to communicate this in a number of ways. Report would be one with you. I'm sorry that it hasn't worked. But we have obviously recently launched the residents app. It's nearly 5,000 downloads now. So that will be pushing notifications to people so they present the correct thing on the correct day. So give them the ability to check what service in against. We've got a new web lookup which is linking directly to the management system, our management system that is telling our drivers where to go. So residents will be able to see up to 6 weeks in advance the collections there. And we are also writing a letter to the residents. The letter is a little bit complicated because of the changes that this will cause. So some people will have to present their bin on a different day. Some people will have to present their black bin different day or black bin on the same day. Some people will present a green bin alongside their black bin. So just communicating those differences, it's different for each resident. I have got, and I'll share this with you, we have got a league table so you can see how it impacts on your wards. You'll be able to see the overall impact. And also there is an interactive map with an address search, so residents are able to sort of put their address in, you're able to see whether it's the same in a different really try to make it the messages. Just really sorry I can't share it with you because that is the whole point of me being here. I would fail this thing.
No problem. I'm sure you can answer any questions that we've got. So, yeah. Councillor Hobley, Councillor Creary.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for all your work, guys, as well on the bins. I really enjoyed the rubbish meeting. It wasn't a rubbish meeting, it was really good. And your knowledge on recycling is, second to none. That's why you're in the jobs that you're in, no doubt. I just wanted to ask them a question that's been lingering in my brain. Why aren't we doing it all at the same time? So obviously we've got the food waste bins coming out as well. Just looking at it from a resident's perspective, we're getting this change, this change with the bins, which, like you said, is quite impactful with the pie chart. And then a couple of months down the line, they're all also having another big change. And that change obviously comes with high expectations and a change to the way like you do general day-to-day life, isn't it? Because the food is going somewhere else. It's not going to go. It's a change to a complete routine. I just don't get why we're making two big changes instead of smashing them all at once. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer that again, Chair. It's around resource management. If you think the fact that we're going to swap some people's black bins from week A to week B, therefore they may have to go 3 weeks without collection. To stop that happening, I need to ensure we've got resources to pick up those bins. Because we're also training the food waste drivers, who are also class through drivers, operators and loaders. They can bridge that gap, provide that additional service without us having to go find new people who won't be working the authority to do that. It will do two things. It'll help them get familiar with the routes. It'll help resource that change we want. And then when we implement food waste collection, they'll know the routes in which to take and follow, because they'll be the new routes they've helped to implement. So that's the reason we've done that. It's about resource management. The problem that we got last week, and just give you all a heads up now, in the report, we actually said that we do this on the 20th of April. That can't happen now. There was a fire at the production plant that's doing our new baddies for the house order. They're not going to be with us until the beginning of May now because of that disruption to their production. It's not any impact to us, it's impacted another 10 or 15 authorities across the country. And we're going to have to delay that implementation. We'll start a trial, but we won't be able to fully roll it out now till mid-June, I'm afraid.
Can I just come back? And just as an extra question, by now a lot of questions. With the new food waste bins, I know now they've been delayed, which is obviously unfortunate. Will the days stay the same will the days, if black bin's going out on Friday the 13th, and that's the same day that food waste will go out, is that going to stay the same?
What impact it? Because food waste has to be at a weekly collection under the statute, so it'll be picked up every single week.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So rolling out the alternate collection for red and black, you get the room to operate effectively. We then overlay that every property every week with a separate food bin collection.
But it won't change the food waste, the collection days.
Will not change any of those. It's a complete separate crew that will help us catch up. We'll roll out a weekly collection of food.
But can I just I think what, if I'm right, Katie, I think what Katie's saying is, say your day is a Thursday. Thursday one week you put your black bin out, Thursday the next week you put your red bin out, and your green bin can be either. And so on a Thursday you put your food waste out.
Spot on.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so we got that cleared up.
Yeah.
That's, thank goodness for that.
So it would be
That's what I
easy to
thought.
implement that change because people either put the bin out or they won't on that day. Biggest change and impact that we collectively need to manage is this round change, this balancing, and that is going to impact every single person in this room.
Councillor Reary, you yes.
As a caseworker in the previous life, I always get a little bit anxious when people are being sent letters by councils or government because they're quite often hard to understand. So I'm just interested in the process. Who will you be getting to help you draft those letters?
So the letters are drafted now. The idea is that these letters will go into, along with a pack and information, other documents to the member waste working group. They will sense check that to make sure it's fit for purpose. Where they want those changes, we want them to input into that so we can make those changes. The more information I can give you, the more tools I can give you to help manage those issues, the better. We'll also make sure that we increase the resources around the education and support. So where we're getting issues with either people presenting a long day, we can actually go out and work on the street. But we're wanting your intelligence that you're gathering from your residents to help us target those resources in the right place.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Singh.
Have the residents been informed yet, or they will get a letter, or, and plus, will the ward councillors get a heads up as well before you actually implement it, 28th of, or 23rd of Feb? So we could explain why there's a change and what days the bins are going to be put out. Because we will get, a lot of inquiries.
You want to know that, Charlie?
Yes, so I forgot to do my notes. I apologise. The communication, so the app, I'm not doing very well, am I? The app, the web, and the letters will all are being coordinated to land on the 9th of February. It's a big one. That's when you'll be able to see it in the app. That's when you'll be able to see it on the website. That's when you'll have the best.
Not everybody has got an app, so
No,
a lot of
that's what
people will have to be verbally told.
So we are hoping that members will receive that pack at least 7 days before. So you get a week in advance before it goes out to those residents. Before then, the waste recycling has tested it, says it fit for purpose, does it work? We'll also help and coach you through how you do the lockup, should you need to do that. And then if you've got other issues, we'll make sure we've got the resources on the call centre or back in the office to be able to answer those questions that residents have. What we want to do is to make it as easy as possible for you to either help people or signpost them to the right place where we can get the support they need.
Thank you. Obviously not everybody has a smartphone and can deal with apps, but for those that do, can everybody please try and promote the app, because it's the easiest way you get notification of, tomorrow it's your back bin or what. So please do that. But note that everybody will be getting a letter, so they know anyway. So yes, I've got Councillor Jarvis, then Councillor Watts.
Thanks, Chair.
Oh, sorry. How could I? After Ray, then you can.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Chair. I understand there's been a fire in one of the lorries this week, obviously caused by batteries. My daughter lives in Leicestershire. They have a battery collection, and all they do is leave snappy bag with the batteries on top of the bin, and the refuse collectors take them. Is that something that could be done, and payback maybe stop lorry fires?
Right. So yes, we had a lorry fire last week. Service that caused just over £250,000 of damage, because that vehicle is now a write-off, having to cut holes in the side of it and everything else. The Red Working Group, once we got past food waste and the round changes, that one of the other roles they're doing is about maximising recycling. And one of the things they want to look at is battery collection and small wheat products. So your small, your kettle, your toaster, those small electrical items, to be able to collect those separately. And the idea is exactly what they're doing in Leicester. Put it on your recycling bin, and we take those and we put them in the box under the vehicle. And it stops those fires from happening, provided the residents have separated that battery or that electrical appliance. And it does work.
So it is on the table.
It is definitely, but it'll be for that member working group to work up how that scheme will work that's going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Peter, I'll take you then.
Thank you, Chair. Just a bit of fact finding for me, so I can't remember. First of all, where does the food waste go now? Where does the green waste go now? In fact, if I recall, recycling goes to Sherborne. And also, where does the general waste go now? And the same thing with, as Councillor Singh on my thunder, is yes, about communication to the public. But it's helpful as well, Chair, that for us as members, for example, Wednesday I'm going to Coleshill Town Council to do my report, and it would be really helpful to have something layman's terms, something simple that we can explain to town and parish councillors and also members of the public that attend, just so we could do that. Is that possible to have something that it could do tomorrow, or Wednesday? So I can actually
I'm gonna
report
look
back.
at it. The answer is yes. We've already updated the town councils and the parish council. This is happening. We did say that we'll provide a similar information pack. They'll also get questions. It's important they have the answers to those people who ask questions available. As for disposal points, this is one of the big changes the county are making. Where at the moment you can put food waste in your garden bin, when we implement the service, from that day, you won't be able to put food waste in that garden bin. It'll have to go into the food caddy. And the reason for that is that they're going to move the food, what's collected now as a mixed food and garden. They're going to change the disposal point from that to a windrow disposal. The reason for that is cost. One's £70, one's £20. So they're going to divert the garden waste to the windrow, but all food waste will be processed at a plant here actually in North Warwickshire in relation to that treatment of that food waste. I'm going to look at anybody who's going to give me the location of the plant. Yeah, of course.
Is it Paddington, is it? Right, yeah, it sounds like Paddington.
Now, originally, should have gone back to the transfer station. We have a farm. Flowerhouse Farm. Flowerhouse Farm. The problem is we do not yet have a license, or the county doesn't have a license to take food waste to Flowerhouse Farm. Nor have we seen the application go forward. So we're being instructed now to take that to Coast.
Yeah, because that has a digestive, which has been there for quite a few years now. I remember the planning coming in for many years here. The general waste would
Still
still
goes to incineration. So we transport that, we bulk that up, and it's taken off to the incinerator.
Yeah, I was looking where's the incineration
That we have. Well, it's Coventry. It's in Coventry.
in Coventry? Because it used to be Coventry.
I think it's
the old,
Coventry is the one where still the county are still using.
oh, right,
Yeah,
okay.
so the
it's-
county
it's
organise our disposal points
Yeah.
and the instructors.
Mhm.
Where we deliver outside of Bedford, we can recover those costs.
Yeah.
But of course, they set up transfer stations inside of Bedford, so they then pick up those costs and choose their point of disposal.
Yeah.
Ours is to collect, theirs is to dispose.
Lovely. Thank you. It's very helpful as well, getting those notes to for members. So even though I know that the parish and town councils do get them, they don't always pick it up when we're there. So it helps us to report back. And again, it's always that usefulness, as I've mentioned many times before. Various councils, probably not all, we link into our community Facebook pages, so we can still use us to help you to disseminate the information.
Really need to be able to use.
As I think it would be, Mike.
Help you, help us get this right, because, and there will be problems, there will be teething problems, there will be times that we need to use the resources where reserved, or got in reserve to be able to pick up some of those either missed collections, or where the resident has forgot to put it out, doesn't change. We don't want to say, oh, you have to wait 2 weeks, we'll actually go back first month or so to empty that bin until they get it right. But there is a point in time when we have to say, that's the day you must present your bin.
Okay, thanks very
Very
much.
helpful, Mike, thank you.
Speech.
Thanks, Sean. It was, to begin with, was just to pick up on the rounds as you were talking of the communication and things, because we did a lot of communication over Christmas and people still flummoxed. They were all over the forum. What bin is it? What's happening? Doesn't matter. We put stickers on the bins, we websites, everything we do. People still get confused. And then when you told them, we've got people that just understand the concept of black 1 week, red another week, and green. And now you're saying it might be green with a black. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is going to cause chaos. There's going to be, people just putting everything out just in case it is, right? So, yeah, communication is absolutely key. I don't know how we're going to get to these people. We've got to be able to pick them up in local social media and things like that and support them, I guess, as councillors. I was going to go on to something else, Mike, but you've covered that already. That to me, I didn't see any value in it because my food goes in my green waste collection and half the residents have a green bin and probably wouldn't want a third bin. But now you just said that stuff we can't put food in anymore. I've got a choice, right? So that kind of answered that, and that's going to be another big communication piece because people are so used to putting the food waste in the green bin, the paper collection. That, yeah, that'll be interesting too. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, well, and also just to be clear, and I'm quite clear about this myself, this food waste collection is not going to be welcomed by everyone. There are people who are going to say, I don't want another bin, I haven't got room for a food caddy in my kitchen. It is not our choice. This is government directive. We have no choice. We have to collect food waste every week. And so, and it's costing us money, but we do what we're told. So that's what we're doing. But you're absolutely right though about communication. But as Nigel says, we are going to be lenient for a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. And if people put the wrong bin out, we'll go back and get the right bin, and all that sort of stuff will go on for a while till people get used to it. But over Christmas, you're right, it was absolute chaos in some households over Christmas. They had no idea. And people were putting bins out on Christmas Day. I don't know what they thought about Saturday. But anyway, but having said that, though, we had a lot of app downloads. I can't remember how many was it over Christmas. It was quite a lot more, didn't we?
3,000.
Yeah. And so, this is another opportunity to say to people, you don't have to remember. Just download the app if you've got a smartphone and it'll tell you what to do. So, anyway, there we are. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, Chair, thank you. I just wanted to come back on one more thing. My burning question from the rubbish meeting, that's not called that, was why can't we just use the green bin? Why don't we give everybody a green bin? Because I thought I'd solved all the council's problems and no one had thought of that. So I just wanted to go over that because it was I actually thought, I've got it, guys. We don't need another bin. But it is, am I right in saying, if I make a mistake, just tell me, it's a financial decision because the food that goes in the green bin is not worth as much as the food on its own, something like that.
Okay.
Go on, Mike.
So at the moment, and Paul wanted it to go, I'll just be honest with you, if he wanted it in that agreement as well, that would have saved £500,000, to be honest with you, for us. But for the county, that would have increased their costs. And the reason why is because they pay £70 to treat food and garden waste mix. And as we put more food in there, that price goes higher for those people that haven't got garden waste collections. So that costs rockets. Whereas if they can make that green waste £20 per tonne, they've now got money to help pay for some of the food waste treatment. So it was a financial decision by county. And as where the waste collection authority, we can only collect and present in the way they tell us they want it, presenting at the point of disposal to waste stuff, really. So we end up with the headache and they got the saving. Just straight.
Just put it out there.
Just put it out there. But I can see why they made that decision. It was important that we look at food waste, how we can turn that back into some sort of product going forward. But actually, if they can also take the garden waste as windrow, and that comes back as local compost, there's things we can do that locally if we want to promote those sales, promote those giveaways to residents. There's lots we can do now to get separated. Once it hit the animal byproducts requirement, so mixed, it was a different type of product, so we would have had difficulty processing that or presenting that back to resident teams.
And just one more thing, sorry, Margaret. Sorry, Chair. On the back of the Christmas and the poor weather, I know my community group was live with bin questions, like Margaret was saying. It was people asking sort of 4 or 5 times a day what bin and when it was getting collected. I've got scheduled posts going on our community group saying, are you the binfluencer in your street? Because we've got one in our street. The first person to put their bin out and you're like, oh, that's the bin. But I look at that every week because I'm supposed to know and I don't know what bin's going out. Them things, I mean, I wanted to suggest a competition between wards. So you have to pair up if you're not on the same team and see which ward has got the most, because we can do it by ward, can't we, with the postcodes,
And
gets the most app downloads. So I propose that if we can Because I reckon we've won, Margaret, because we were getting things saying, is it this app? So.
That's just fair.
Get some facts and that in there.
We're up in front.
Well,
Was that evidence that's an doing?
I'm looking to.
Percentages though, rather than numbers, because some wards are smaller than others.
We could also identify recycling per ward as well.
Oh, my
With
God.
it, so-
Yeah. That's phase two.
Who's actually development here?
Okay, thanks, thank you. So, thanks very much, everyone. I don't have more comments on that. Okay, so just go to the recommendations then, and you'll see there are three, and the second one has been changed. So the first one is to confirm the implementation date for 23rd of February. The second one is the implementation date for new food waste collection, and that is now the 20th of June, not the 20th of April, for the reasons we've explained. And this third one is just to note the impact of rebalancing and the need for communication, etc. So if I can have a proposal for that, Councillor Hogbin, second by Councillor Singh, all those in favour? Very much. Any against? No, any abstention? Lovely, thank you very much for that. Let's move on then. So the next report is for the green space and plaintive strategy. So lots of good news here. Over to you.
Thank you, Jay. Lots of work going on in this area. So I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple of points. So pavilions, council are rightly aware, we've spent years and years trying to get the Boot Hill up and running, and it is finally finished. There is a lease appended to this report for your endorsement. You'll notice it's a 10-year lease. That term's been agreed with the club. The other leases that we've done have been 25, 30 years for the home advantage funding. This pitch doesn't need that. We've made significant investment into that pitch and to the pavilion. So at the moment they don't need that, but we're happy to extend that if needed. Manchester, looking at the completion date for May at the moment. And Annesley had a very aspirational plan. So we're doing that in phases, with the first phase concentrating on the club room and expected completion for August on that one. Just to make you aware, some work we're doing on trees. Everybody loves trees. So we're looking at mushing all of our TPOs and getting them on a system that can be publicly accessed, and getting them to a point where we will review them all as well to make sure that they're still warranted TPA. Very optimistically hoping to get all of the trees in the borough mapped at some point, not by the end of this financial year, but hopefully soon. Which will lead on to some proactive tree work, so we can get away from just doing the reactive works and work towards a proper proactive programme of work for our trees. And finally, just draw attention to the River Anchor Access and Nature Feasibility Study. So Addison Town Council got some funding through UKSBF, so this is a project that is definitely kind of wider than their scope as a town council, and did it for the good of Addison. They've done presentations to our Health and Wellbeing Working Party, and it's been endorsed through that group. So in terms of this board, it's about endorsing that we introduce the local nature reserve at Riverside, which is in your green space strategy already. The considerations for the work that they've suggested at Royal Meadow Drive.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say a little bit about the tree strategy. Sorry, Mike, remind me how many trees we think we've got on our land in the borough.
About 27,500, and we're looking at trying to map those onto the system, but also carry out an inspection of all those trees. We would start initially just doing the high risk trees, those which are near a play area or walkway, those that could seriously injure an individual. Those will be done this year. But next year we'll do another section, and the year after that we'll do another section. So we're hoping within 3 years to have captured all the trees across the borough on a mapping system that's available to the public to be able to view.
Yeah, obviously we have a responsibility for trees that are on our land, so that's a really big project. Thanks for starting it.
Thanks, Chair. So would you be interested in trees with TPOs not on your land as well? Thank you.
So So the key initial part of the first law is to map all trees with the TPO. One, because that's the requirement. Two, we need to put that on the national database, and that's part of a government drive and campaign. We also want to know those that exist on that land as well, and how we manage them.
Thanks. Brilliant. So really,
Thanks, Chair. In 5.2, it mentions the funding for water and recreation ground. The consultation with residents took place almost a year ago. So is there any sort of update on where we are in the process?
Yeah, through you, Chair. So they've completed the first phase of the consultation. And that identified 4 areas that the residents were interested in. So that was improvements to the pitch, a community garden, a path, and improvements to the play area. So they're now going through their second phase of the consultation to work out the priorities and give a little bit more information about the finances that would be involved in each of those, so people can determine which they prefer.
Andy.
Yeah, I'm speaking to Becky earlier on. I'll say, I mean, would it be possible to have a site visit with the ward members and also the parish councillors, as well as myself and David Humphries and Margaret? So, like I say, so they can better understand the layout of the land. I mean, of course, you know, there'll be a possibility of having to change facility put on there, especially now as, like I say, you've got young girls playing there and what have you. So it's like, you know, we're not in the 1970s anymore. You know, if there's any funding there, it would be good to have a change facility.
Yeah, and it may be that, I mean, obviously it's parish council will make these decisions, but it may be that this money can be used to attract more funding, as like match funding to get more. So if you had a plan of all the things you wanted to do with it, or some of the things you might not put at all, some of the things you wanted to do with it, then there might be opportunities to bid for funding and use that as match funding as well. So that would be really good. So yeah, I'd be quite happy to go and talk to the people concerned and have a look. I don't know this pitch at all. I've not been to it, so it will be a little bit more. I can tick off the North Warwickshire list of places to go. So thank you. Yes.
Hi, thanks, Chair. Just to say, we've been pulled up several times by not calling it pitch because it's a recreation ground.
Oh, sorry.
No, I know. But it matters to some people that we don't presume it's a pitch. So I thought I'd make that mistake often when I'm talking about it in the parish council, but some people do take umbrance to that because it's a recreation ground, not a pitch.
Okay.
But sometimes it's used as a pitch. So yeah, all right, thanks.
Thanks, Emma. That's good advice. Peter.
Thank you, Chair. Always like to thank and congratulate officers, members of staff. They do various things, certainly in my particular area of Coleshill. Firstly, we have a place called, well, it's just a leisure area, which we will say across the road from the Green Man pub. But I'd like to thank Mark Kennel because having a chat with Mark during this week, I was aware that they were going to be cutting back the hedges and clearing up the paths, etc. So I'm grateful to Mark for that. And also to Eleanor Evans, that she's been amazing helping me with Colwyn Park and also with this area opposite from the Green Man pub. We've now got a consultation out with the public about how we can improve that area. I've been wanting to do this for quite a few years, but now with Eleanor and myself and also the Coleshill Partnership, I hope we'll see a difference. A lot of good things as well from the Warwickshire Wildlife Trust as well. Don't want to see that getting missed because there's a lot of good things in here, in particular again in relation to Colwyn Park. A lot of the work that gets done in the actual nature reserve is done predominantly by volunteers, of which very grateful, and I've had a hand myself in pulling out that wonderful stuff called Himalayan balsam, and it's a terrible thing. But I noticed in the contract that we have with the Wildlife Trust that need to get that balsam out between June and July. But when I spoke to somebody last year as well, somebody did mention who knew about balsam, said one of the great things you can do is pull it up early, January, February, when it's so low, to stop the growths. And I'm wondering whether we can ask the Nature Reserve Trust whether that it's possible to do that, to remove it. And the other thing is that, because we have two sections, Chair, we have the nature reserve on the left-hand side as you look at Colwyn Park, and then the park itself is the Borough Council. But on the nature reserve side, as it says in here, the buffer strip running parallel with the River Cole was cut in August. But the trouble is, the other side doesn't get cut, which confuses the hell out of public because they don't see that it's two different people. So can we try and organise that when the nature reserve cut their side, but the Borough Council go and do it pretty much at the same time within a matter of weeks, because it is left for literally months and confused them, and it looks really bad.
Okay, right, so
Thank
you look into that better. Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay, let's go on to the recommendations then. Note the progress on our green space and fame strategies and all the work that's going on. Thank you very much for that. Comment and accept the draft 10-year lease for Brendan Football Club and for the management maintenance of the pitches and pavilion at Boot Hill Recreation Ground. And that the board endorses the recommendation to improve access and nature within the authority-owned areas of the River Anchor. Access and nature feasibility study report. Can I have a proposal for that, please? Councillor Hobley, probably seconded by Councillor Wright. All those in favour? You against it, that would be unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on. So, going on to our favourite topic, Andy. Light King, thank you very much. So, you know, ever present. It's you, Andy. You're to give an introduction.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we've done the lawful removal of waste, haven't we? It's the unlawful disposing of waste. So we've come into the new year, having finalised a number of criminal investigations and inquiries. As you're probably aware, we've got one case bouncing through Crown Court at the moment. We've got 3 cases with legal that have been prepped for summons, followed by 4 cases which I've yet to build. So I've got 4 case build for legal, so that'll be 7. That'll be prepared for summons, followed by approximately 2 or 3 others that are just sat there waiting to go. So in terms of fixed penalties, they took a bit of a lull at the moment in favour of actual summons. I've noticed the last quarter of last year, whether it's just happened all at once, I don't know, but a lot of what I do relies on, to an extent, a certain compliance by the individuals of contact to actually get back to me, maybe, and coming to be interviewed, etc., etc. Over the last quarter of last year, I found the compliance to be very low. So nobody getting in touch with me at any point, nobody getting back to me, which presented for me a lot of visits, which I quite enjoyed, to be quite honest, and got enough evidence to actually put to legal for summons rather than fixed penalty. That being said, every case is different. Every case is taken on its own merits. So depending on number of points, if you like, whether that's previous history or the size of the tip, etc., we decide between us whether it's going to be fixed penalty or not. So the good news there is there's a number of cases that will be going through to the courts. In terms of the yellow signs that we talked about last year that have been positioned around the borough, whether you have yourselves received any feedback, I've received some positive feedback over it, over the visibility of them. But not only that, I was saying earlier, there's a secondary impact to them that has been fed back, and that is reducing speed. So we've had a few incidents where members of staff from here have been behind vehicles approaching the signs and the brake lights have come on. So never a bad thing in reducing speed in the borough. So they are going to be under review shortly to be repositioned. I know I've spoken to various councillors as to where the hotspots are, and they'll be repositioned this month. So hopefully we'll see an improvement in new locations as well. Social Media Friday, I don't know whether you noticed, but that's continued every Friday, Fly Tip Friday. Any decent cases I always communicate on to everybody, not every single case, but if there's anything of interest, I do communicate that via email. Other than that, trail cams. So we've purchased a further 9 trail cams that are much better quality to the ones that we've been using. The ones that we've been using have been good to an extent. Overnight, so low visibility of a night time, they do struggle to pick up registration plates and evidential material. Hopefully, these new ones will be in a much better position to capture evidence during low light and night time, so that those will be going out during the course of the month as well. And that's it really in terms of the main points. I'm happy to answer.
I was just going to ask, is it possible for us to have a bit of a league table about the worst places, in the borough of Flighty? So it gives us some information if we come to prioritising where the cameras should go and stuff. So that would be helpful. I know you have got a map, haven't you, where most incidents occur. So that would be helpful.
Yes, Chair, no problem.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Chair. Andy, I just wanted to say, since you've come on board, at parish, I mean, a lot of us go to parish council meetings. Fly tipping's brought up at every parish council meeting. It's really, really important and infuriating for our residents. Since you've come on board, for us to be able to say there's been more going on in a year with regards to fly tipping than there has in the last 10 years at this council, it's a good bragging right to have, and I believe it's down to your hard work. I know there's a team as well, so I'm not underestimating the work that goes on behind it, but it's your determination and coming to this board and coming up with these mad ideas is just, it's so refreshing, and it's so good to tell our residents. I mean, them signs are pretty scary. I know they are working. Just on the back of that, a few of us did ask for a price on them to use various funding to get some for our own little hotspots. But I know we don't want to flood the borough with them. But I didn't hear. Did you hear about that? No, we haven't heard back on the pricing for them if we wanted to get our own for our wards. But thank you for everything that you've done, because it's just, I'm sure everyone will agree, we've all got our own fly tipping hotspots, and it's something that our residents feel so passionately about, because not everybody's a fly tipper, and people are so infuriated when they see a huge caravan or whatever fly tip down a lane. And it's just the work that you've done is absolutely fantastic. So thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thanks. So perhaps you could get the price out there in case anybody wants to fund their own, basically.
If I recall, Chair, I think the signs that you refer to weren't the large yellow ones. They were probably the similar format, but a smaller sign that could be more mobile. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Singh, then Councillor Jarvis, then Councillor.
Just for information, I don't know whether you're aware, someone's left a caravan on the A5 bypass opposite the Copper Kettle. It's been there the last 4 days.
Apologies. The remaining duration of the video is silent due to an unexpected technical problem.